All right, y'all, so here we go. We are finally making the squirrel and dumplings, and here's what you're gonna need. You're gonna need an Instapot, you're gonna need some poultry seasoning, and you're gonna need some chicken broth. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is add about 16 ounces of chicken broth to your Instapot. Then we wanna add about an ounce of this poultry seasoning to your Instapot. Now you wanna clean and add 3 squirrels. Now we got the lid on there. We're gonna go meat poultry, we're gonna go timer, we're gonna go 25 minutes and start. All right, y'all, so we don't get bored while we're waiting on the old bomb pot to heat up. We're gonna go ahead and get our dumplings ready. Right here's what I like to use for my dumplings. So I had just realized that my tripod is in the deer stand. I'm gonna do my best to film this one-handed. But here's how we're gonna do this. We're gonna take the biscuit, we're gonna slap him down here, we're gonna pat him out to about 1/4 inch thick. Like I said, best I can do here, one-handed. Maybe even less than 1/4 inch. That's probably not even 1/4 inch. It's probably 1/8 of an inch thick. Now, once we get that done, we're just gonna take us a small knife and we're gonna cut this into some strips. Kind of like this right here. Just like that. All right. Once we get our strips cut, what I like to do is go ahead and season just the strips with some black pepper. Get a little extra black pepper on the board, that'll be fine for the next one. Now you choose how many dumplings you need by how many squirrels you had and how many people you're gonna have eating the dumplings. For me, it's gonna be the big can of Grands and about 1/2 can of these smaller biscuits. On these smaller biscuits, instead of cutting them into strips, I just half them and leave them pretty thick. That way they don't cook away. All right, now I got my dumplings all cut up, laid out, ready to go. We're trying to feed about 6 people out of this probably. Couple of light eaters, you know, yeah, anytime you fix squirrel and dumpling, probably not everybody's gonna eat it. But I wanted to put plenty of dumplings in here, that way nobody goes hungry if everybody does realize how delicious it is and decide that they want to eat squirrel and dumplings. All right, y'all, so all we're really doing with the Instapot is getting the squirrel to where it's soft enough it will shred off the bone. Once we've got that going and getting down to like in 8-10 minutes, something like we are right now, we're gonna get a bigger pot, set it over here on the stove. We're gonna start putting our ingredients in this pot. First thing we wanna do is add the rest of that chicken broth. All right, so the next thing we wanna drop in is a couple of chicken bouillon cubes. Now there's one thing I did forget to mention. I'm gonna go ahead and mention that right now. After you get your dumplings all cut up and you're waiting on your Instapot, you want to put those dumplings on a paper plate or wax sheet or something and set them in the refrigerator to keep them cool. If they get soft, they're more apt to cook away faster when you drop them in the pot. All right, so now what we want to do is pull the old lid off. We want to get the old squirrels out and see if they will pull from the bone easily. If they won't, we may kick it back on for 5-10 minutes. All right, y'all, so this right here is what it should look like once you get all the squirrels shredded. This right here is a heart that was still hanging out in there. I'm gonna go ahead and, those little snacks are delicious. A little bonus. But that's what it looked like once you get them shredded. That's what the pile looked like that's been shredded. And now we're moving on. All right, so while them bouillon cubes are simmering, we're gonna drop in 3 jars of this Heinz home-style chicken gravy. And then once that gets warm, we're gonna go ahead and put our shredded squirrel. All right, so what I've done here, I did find another 8 ounces of chicken broth in the refrigerator. We've added that with the chicken gravy. I've got the bouillon cubes in there too, so we're gonna be a little chickeny now. But anyway, now we're gonna take the shredded squirrel. This is delicious, I've already tried it. We're gonna take the shredded squirrel, we're gonna add it in, just let it simmer. All right, so now we got her on a hard simmer. She's starting to boil there. I'm gonna fog the screen up. Flip the camera around here. We're gonna start adding these dumplings. Just wanna add them like one at a time. Let 4 or 5 of them cook for a couple of minutes. Not really a couple of minutes. 15-20 seconds, something like that. And then you add some more. If you put them all in there at one time, you're gonna wind up with just a big dumpling ball. That ain't gonna work, so we're just taking them and dropping them in there. By the time you get to dropping the last ones, the first ones that you dropped in should have done got firm enough they won't stick. So if you're dropping them in one at a time, you can really just keep a steady pace dropping them in there. Should be okay. After we drop a few in there and they start popping back to the top, I kind of miss these coming back to the top, but they'll start popping up. Once they start popping up, then you can start adding some more in there. So once we get all the dumplings in, they start popping back to the top. Most of these have popped back to the top now. We're gonna cover it back up and just let it simmer for about 10 minutes. All right, so it's been 10 minutes. We wanna kill that heat. We wanna get that lid off of there, because if we don't, our dumplings are gonna start evaporating, and we don't want that to happen. They'll just start going away. We're gonna stir them up a little bit. Look at that. Man, look at that. I think I'll have me a bowl. All right, y'all, so I brought these little tree rats kind of right back to where we first met to enjoy the fruits. And let's get in here and we'll show y'all these dumplings. Light and fluffy, real airy. Now I'm gonna show y'all a little pinch of that squirrel. Man, that's delicious. Guaranteed to be the best squirrel and dumpling recipe on YouTube. Y'all get out, enjoy life, enjoy the outdoors, do some hunting. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button. I'll see you in the next one.